police showed up. Two officers approached us and told us that we were breaking.
And they put handcuffs on my mom.
A mom says she was cuffed, searched, insulted, and put in a cop car, and then was fined $800 in front of her 5-year-old. Her crime? Pushing her little one on a swing in an empty playground. Today, I'm excited to introduce you to Brigitte Carlson, not because of the terrible things she says happened to her, but because, well, she needs our help to fight back. She's a young mom from North Bay, Ontario, and she's got a genuinely harrowing tale that will outrage and anger you. I know it angers me a lot. I spoke to Brigitte last week over Skype, and I was livid, mum to mum, to hear what happened to her. It was so upsetting that we just had to find a way to help her out. So we sent one of our really great Toronto-based videographers up to North Bay to talk to Brigitte, to get her side of the story on camera so that we could show all of you. Just watch.
We were on the swing for about 15 or we were here for about 15 or 20 minutes. She was just on the swing. We weren't hurting anyone. We were here by ourselves. The police showed up. Two officers approached us and told us that we were breaking.
And they put handcuffs on my mom.
I told them that we weren't harming anyone, that we needed to get outside and get some normality and just get some fresh air. We were talking for a little while, just like on a human to human level, explaining like where I was coming from and all of this mental health, the lockdown, 2 months being inside with my daughter with no support. They proceeded to call backup. The sergeant showed up here. Same thing. I tried to discuss it with him. He didn't want to hear it. He grabbed my arm, took my backpack off, proceeded to put me in handcuffs, separated me from my daughter. I was taken up to the police vehicle where a cop did a body search on me, and it was very thorough and invasive. From there, they put me into the back of the cop car, and I didn't even know where my daughter was at that time. They went through all my things against my will. We were separated for about 20 minutes. He called me an idiot and yelled in my face. They finally came back and released me from the cop car, took my handcuffs off, and gave me an $880 ticket. From there on, they didn't say anything. They just gave me the ticket and told me if I didn't pay it, that they would take my license away from me. And so we left the park hand in hand, me and my daughter. That's how it happened. It's been terrible. My heartbeat has been like racing since this happened. I'm up till midnight, till 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm having night sweats. I've lost weight. I can't believe that we're living in a country that's capable of doing this to the citizens. I'm a student at Nipissing University. I'll be going into 4th year. I'm a single mom. The only income I receive is through OSAP. I don't have the money to pay $880, and I'm doing everything I can to support my daughter. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Brigitte's story made me so mad for her and her whole family. I'm sure you feel that way too. And how awful for her 5-year-old to witness it all. I know my kids would be absolutely distraught. Who was Brigitte hurting in an empty park alone with her 5-year-old? Who was in danger? Whose health was she putting at risk? What made her so dangerous that day that she needed to be cuffed, stuffed in a cop car, and searched, her body and her belongings, in front of her child? Treated like a street thug or a violent offender, like an actual criminal, instead of a mom just taking her daughter out for some fresh air. And all of this happened to Brigitte before she was issued an insane $800 fine. It's crazy. It hardly feels like Canada. How can Brigitte fight this alone? The good news is, she's not alone. Brigitte has accepted our offer to help her fight this fine.
That would be wonderful. Thank you so much.
We put Brigitte in touch with the top Toronto criminal lawyer we've been working with, Sam Goldstein. He's a bencher with the Law Society of Ontario. Now, I spoke to Sam earlier about what Brigitte says happened to her that day and why he agreed to take on her case. Just watch.
What I understand is that there may very well be an infringement of Miss Carlson's rights. And mostly what I'm concerned about is whether the police had the lawful authority to arrest her and then to proceed to search her. With respect to Miss Carlson, I understand the allegation is that she was alone in the park with her child and she was using the swing, and the police officer approached her. As a result of the conversation that took place between the police officer and herself, She then was arrested, meaning that she was handcuffed, escorted to a police cruiser. Her coat was searched and her backpack was searched. Now, I think it's important for your viewers to understand that if there was a lawful arrest, and let's assume that for a moment, that the police do have the right to search people incident to arrest. And they have a very limited common law authority to be able to do that. The issue becomes is the provincial legislation certainly gave the police the right, the authority, statutory authority, to be able to ask her what her date of birth is, what her name is, and her address. But I'm not so sure the provincial government also enacted companion legislation to give the police the ability to actually arrest her. That is to say, to handcuff her, right? Because it was a ticket. And in tickets, there was nothing that says all they could have simply done was to issue the ticket by simply giving it to her and leaving her alone. In this case, they went further to that, and I think that's the central issue about what happened to her.
Well, Sam, I want to thank you so much for taking on Bridgette's case. And I want to make it clear once again to our viewers at home that you don't work for us. You work for Brigitte, and we're simply crowdfunding your legal fees to help Brigitte. Brigitte told me that, her family doesn't have a lot of money, and this fine in itself is a lot of money for her family, let alone fighting the fine. Sam, I'm sure we'll talk to you again down the road as Bridgette's case progresses. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No mom should be cuffed, stuffed in a cop car, berated, fined, and searched in front of their child for the crime of pushing their child on a swing. Pandemic or not, it's outrageous. It's infuriating and traumatic for Brigitte, her whole family, and especially her little one. We have to do something to get these municipal governments back in check. They aren't balancing rights versus safety whatsoever. In fact, they are completely out of control. Rebel News is crowdfunding to pay for Brigitte's legal bills. You can help us help Brigitte at fightthefines.com. And if you have received a fine, reach out to us at that same website, fightthefines.com. Maybe we can help you because the civil liberty associations definitely aren't doing anything right now. It's just us, you and Rebel News on the front lines fighting for freedom. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. Can you help us help Brigitte and the other Canadians hit with heavy fines for doing perfectly normal, safe things? Can you help us put these municipal bullies back in their place? Have you been hit with a fine yourself? Please go to fightthefines.com to see our coverage and to donate today.